Alright, so this is how being the unwanted child in the family actually set me up to be powerful and put myself in the perspective of strength and power. Now, look, being the unwanted child in the family, in fact, my birth was kind of like based off like wedlock, accidents and shit like that. So I was born by an accident. And look, when I was growing up, I was perceived as negative, bad, like I wasn't even supposed to be on this earth. So subconsciously, it was a lot of pressures that my parents, especially my father and my mom, put on me that made me perceive myself as negative and as bad. So I was treated in a way that I viewed as unjust and unright from my perspective as a child, right? But the thing is, that taught me to want and love myself a lot more, because you can't rely on something externally outside of you to love you, to value you. The only person that can love and value you is yourself. So within that negative experience of being the unwanted child in the family, of having brothers that looked down on me because my birth wasn't holy, my birth wasn't prepared, I came through by an accident and shit like that. So people looked at me like I was negative, I was bad, and shit like that, right? Now growing up, that gave me a negative perception of myself. And since, a lot of the times who we are as a person, a lot of that is constructed by how we are, raised in the home and shit like that. Especially when your parents don't necessarily have nurturing or loving energies, they might be so frustrated within themselves, they might go to war with you and take out whatever anger, whatever frustration they have on you. So growing up, I had to connect the dots on my own and be like, you know what, God damn it. Because I think it was like grade 10, grade 11. And I started to put the two and two together and be like, damn, you know what? My parents had me by accident. And it was actually just recently that my brothers, one of them, out of an intention of making me feel bad about myself, mentioned it and told me like, yeah, mom and dad had you by accident, right? Like, he wasn't really supposed to be here. But here's the thing, I don't listen to the words, I listen to the energy, to the tone of voice, to the intention behind someone's words, right? Then my other brother, he informed me normally like, hey, yeah, mom and dad, they told us they had you by accident and shit like that, right? So I already knew that and shit like that, right? So being within that experience of being the unwanted child, the child that, was just garbage basically. Like, trust me, it's like my dad would tell me crazy shit when I was younger. Like, man, I wish you was never here. Man, I wish something would happen to you, out of frustration and out of anger, because it was something within themselves that they didn't even necessarily know how to exercise, how to heal. So it's like a lot of the times people can jump into desires based on like just wanting to busy themselves with like something so they don't have to take care of something within themselves, right? So a lot of the times if you get lost in the fucking energy and shit like that, you can get lost in the act of sex. There's nothing wrong with having a lot of sex. You should have a lot of fucking sex, but you should do it from a conscious space of mind where it's like you're actually transmuting energy. Because right now, the way we have sex, is really bastardized. It's really like unconscious based on subconscious motivations. And the sexual energy itself, the root chakra, is coming from a space of the unconscious, subconscious, deep desires, motivations, and shit like that, right? So a lot of the times a man may not be able to control that and shit like that, right? But here's the thing. Within that negative experience of being the unwanted child, the child that's hated, the child that's not liked by his family and shit like that, within that experience, I found a great power and a great opportunity to really love myself, to really like myself, to really appreciate every aspect of myself without needing an external reference point to refer me to how I should experience or look at myself. And so when I took control of that power by stopping giving my thoughts, my feelings, my mind to, experiences, past things that was said, I stopped giving my mind to these things. And by giving my mind to these negative experiences, I gave these things power over me. I made these things the God over my overall experience that is life. Because your mind is just, the concept of what you have is right or wrong. So if you look at yourself like you're wrong, or you're not right, or you're bad and shit like that, you might act as a lesser person, and you might allow things outside of you to overwhelm you and overpower you and take whatever it is that you got, right? So I learned by going through these negative experiences, these negative perceptions that was, projected onto me by my mother and father and some of my brothers and shit like that, I learned that, you know what? Can nobody love you? Can nobody appreciate you more than you do yourself anyways? Because if you are waiting for something outside of you to love you more than you love yourself, then you're going to be waiting for a very long time, man, because that thing might never come, and you might be waiting forever. Because the thing is, the trick is that a lot of, we'll call it like, in this world, there's a lot of trauma care centers, and it's not like a trauma care center, like a child care center. It's like a lot of traumas, a lot of generational curses that people continuously put energy into and animate as far as into their generations, into their offsprings and shit like that. These things are continued as cycles and shit like that. So even let's say if you have a child by accident, that would be something that you and the community would come together and help, and because that's a member of the community anyway. So you're not supposed to hate it. Like, you're supposed to look at it like it's bad, because God doesn't care about good or bad. Mankind puts these labels of good and bad on these experiences. So I wasn't good or bad. I was just, popping through. I was just coming through this realm, right? But it is the way by which I was birthed into this realm that people looked at as negative. So people put negative labels and negative connotations on me. Like, I was a bad person and shit like that. But I learned down the line not to give my mind to these experiences, not to give my mind to past affirmations that was said to me that I could be subconsciously, unconsciously affirming in the present, right? So by not giving my mind, by not giving my power to those things, to animate those things, to recreate those experiences within the frame of mind, within my mind, within the present moment, I got out of those things and I converted those things into a positive experience, because nothing is good or bad until we perceive it, until we make it good and bad. So me changing the observation of what I perceived was a negative experience, converted the subconscious fabric of that experience, the energy spectrum that experience came in, and made it into a power, made it into a passion, made it into a new desire to love myself, to really appreciate myself and go far with that and shit like that. So, to all the people that felt like, unwanted by their parents, unwanted by their families, like they would make to feel like they were trash and garbage and they didn't belong here just because of the way they came to this world, you need to know that that's just an experience and we don't need to hold on to it. We can convert these things by how we look at these things. And when you use your mind, when you use your perception to have a cognitive dissonance about that, which science tells you that's bad, but it's not what you do, that's how you do it, then you look at that experience as something that's positive for you. And you take that and use that shit to make you stronger. Because the people that got loved, the people that got raised in a white picket fence, in a house, whatever like that, their mom and dad was always there for them, they expecting other people to always be there for them. And if you come from a background like me, you're not expecting anyone or anything to be there for you other than yourself. So you are actually set up to have the advantage beyond these people, because these people need things outside of them to validate. See, you might go through that experience and it might be really negative, but here's the thing, right? Look at Japan, for example. Japan got hit by tsunamis. The USA fucking nuked that place in World War I or World War II, I can't remember. But that very catastrophic event has set up the nation of Japan to become one of the greatest economic powers, entertainment powers that the world has ever seen. So I'm telling you, that negative extreme event that happened to you is setting you up to be rebuilt into a motherfucking real ass nigga, a real ass G, a real ass bro, and a real ass sister. Because you will no longer be dependent on these external variables to bring to you the things that you should actually really be fulfilled within yourself with naturally. Because if you need someone else to fill your cup for you, you're always gonna need that person. That's how you have the business of gas stations, the business of grocery stores. If you don't grow your own food, if you don't extract your own diesel, your own oil, you're forever going to be codependent on an external system to help you fulfill those things, whether it be family, whether it be friends, whether it be whatever. And here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with having these associations, having these friends and shit like that. But let's say, for example, you felt unwanted by your parents and that made you feel bad and hate yourself. the friends that you're going to create, the associations you're going to be a part of, the people that you're going to relate with one-on-one with, down to even your girlfriend, or if you're a girl, your boyfriend, is going to be a situation where it's unbalanced and you're seeking to be validated by someone else because you feel about yourself and you don't even like yourself, so you're doing more than what's necessary for that other person to want you in their life. But it's really the opposite. You really got to first love, respect, and value yourself. Then other people outside of you will see that energy from you, because you're not, because if you go through that extreme situation, but you're still in that extreme situation as far as an experience in your mind that you're holding on to as negative, you're going to find yourself creating negative experiences because you're using that as the base reference point in your mind to create your life experiences from. And so you might be experiencing negative things because of that, but you really got to look at that experience like it's positive, because it's actually setting you up for success. Ain't nothing wrong with being the unwanted child. Ain't nothing wrong with being an accident. Ain't nothing wrong with being born out of wedlock and shit like that. And the people that made you feel negative, bad, hurt you mentally, tell you, oh, you're no good because of that, they themselves is in a fucking negative space. Because the only way you can project that type of negative energy onto someone is if you was in that negative space yourself. So whoever raised you is just in a negative space themselves and shit like that. So you don't need to take all that shit and hold on to it as if that's a part of your existence. No, you can make that experience a part of your paradigm, or you can let go of that experience, or you better yet choose to look at that experience from a better frame of reference, from a better point, from a better angle, so you can actually transmute that and make it powerful. Because here's the thing, motherfuckers get punched in the face and they start crying and start feeling bad, but that might just start to increase your pain tolerance. However, your jaws and your face might recover. It might recover and come back stronger, tougher, although it might be a little bit scarred and shit. So that's the thing. You may have scars, but all these things are just battle scars, because your skin never really even recovers fully to the same way it was. It will always recover with some type of it won't recover fully. It won't be like your birth skin and shit like that. So that's the point of your life. You're not supposed to come out of this life the same. You're supposed to come out of this life better, even though you went through negative experiences, even though you went through bad things and shit like that. So all your negative experiences are setting you up for motherfucking success. And I would applaud you if you start to begin to use those experiences for the betterment of yourself, because it made you better. It didn't make you worse. Now you're not a seeker. You're not begging. You're not hoping. You're helping yourself. You like yourself. That negative experience is setting you up not to look outside of you. It's setting you up to look inside of you. Because God is telling you already have it inside of you. I'm just waiting for you to go within yourself and fulfill yourself with your own love, with your own passion and desire for whatever it is that you want to see come in this world. And hopefully, and look, we all have these access to these energies. You can give away love all you want, but you have to really be in a healthy frame of mind so you can decide, okay, is this person giving me love back from the perspective of how I want to be loved, valued, and appreciated? And if they not, you got to clock the clock and clock out of this fucking friendship or relationship or association. Because if something is not benefiting you, something is not adding value, positive value, not negative value, then you need to leave that shit. And if you're attached to those people and shit like that, you got to understand it's coming from a negative frame of reference of motherfucking reality. So real shit, being the unwanted child, being the motherfucker that, was looked at negatively growing up, that experience set me up to be motherfucking, to love myself, to value myself, to appreciate myself, because I learned at an early age that don't nobody gonna do that for me better than how I could do that for myself. Because when you know yourself, you can do that shit for yourself better than anyone else. And when you know yourself, you love yourself, you appreciate yourself, that's when you're ready, and that's when you're in a healthy frame of mind. That's when you have healthy boundaries, and you can actually start to create the reality that you want to create, because now you're actually consciously participating in your reality rather than subconsciously participating in shit that you might not understand what was the starting point for. Because we have offsprings of thoughts and feelings, but when we not understand the experiences or the memories that these thoughts and feelings come from, that are still trapped in our body and are still, registering with our current now. And so these things may produce chemicals, may produce feelings, may produce thoughts and shit like that summon, that conjure the past, the ghosts of the past in the motherfucking present. And the ghost is nothing but something that you created with your own mind. So if you know how to use your own mind consciously, you create your own ghost, your own vibe, your own aura past that negative shit and actually make it some positive shit. So with that being said, I love everybody. Take care. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow on the next fucking video. Better believe it. Real stuff.